And apparently we're live. What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, here with El Guapo.
Hola, mis amigos. Señor Guapo here once again. And once again, I am... What? I don't know. Once again, I am Dashing Guapo.
Yeah, I was going to say, you threw yourself off there by not having the mask, didn't you?
Yeah,
Anyways,
I
know what all you guys are thinking. I got Guapo here. There's no Kristen. It's not a pay-per-view preview, and my computer's yelling at me. We can take care of that later. Basically, guys, and the reason I asked Guapo here is because I wanted to do a video a long last time ago when we started to announce the people getting released from WWE. I thought, like everybody else does, I'd do a little commentary on the couple of people that have left, but then a couple more people left, and then a couple more people left, and then a couple people quit, and then a couple people had, you know, what's the word I can look for?
Drug abuse?
Scandals, for lack of a better term. Controversial situations is a good one. So this video is going to be basically a discussion with me and Guapo. I've given him the names, and that's about it.
That's it.
He's also in charge of social media, so he's doing a lot. And Guapo, thanks for joining me. This is all people that have either quit, been fired, or I can reasonably see getting in trouble and getting fired in the near future. We're not talking about injuries. We're not talking about people that have passed away, because you can find videos on those topics by just about anybody. But, I mean, Guapo, I gave you the list of people we're going to talk about. There's a lot, and it's happened within like a month.
Yeah. I mean, we've had a lot of people just either drop off the face of WWE, or we've heard rumors of, okay, something happened, and WWE posted something about how, like, take Adam Rose and Connor, for example. They made it notice that they violated the wellness policy, so that they were, they were not released. They were put on suspension for 6 months. Yeah.
Or just people that, and the social media thing just made, like, as much as YouTube and us in the YWC were part of social media on this forum, social media in general really just makes the whole thing messy. But before we get started, I want to start with one list of people that I did not give you before we started recording, with all the people that have been released, fired, asked to be released, might be released, people that have gone down injured, people, you know, all the sort of thing. Why do we still have, and I know you're going to disagree with me on some of them, and that's okay, we've rebooted Epico and Primo again. We still have Mark Henry for reasons. We still have Alicia Fox for reasons. We have the primetime players separately. Titus O'Neil, you know.
And we're making Darren Young great again.
No, it's fucking terrible. And you know, if we have a list like this, I'm going to bring up Naomi.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just like, there's so much dead weight on the roster that they didn't trim. And some of these that we're going to talk about are really, really, I don't know. It's one of those, like, if you were going to get rid of these people, why would you not get rid of these people type of scenarios. But, I mean, there's a couple right off the top I want to talk about. Not really much to say, and I'm going to sort of clump them together as one, because I think they kind of fall into the same category. Hornswoggle and El Torito.
Yeah.
Finally got their release.
They weren't being used. I mean, Hornswoggle, the last time I saw him was on Swerve. So,
and he's good for comedy. And the thing with Hornswoggle is he's been in the company a long-ass time.
Yeah.
And Hornswoggle was introduced back when the Vince McMahon, you know, who's Vince McMahon's illegitimate child thing was around. Fit Finlay was still wrestling. Mm-hmm. DX was still in a run. Remember when he joined the DX Army for a little while? Like Hornswoggle.
Hornswoggle was around before that, before the second run of DX, though. He's a great comedic. He's a good comedic relief.
Yeah, and I think he found his way here and there, like when they did the more childish stuff with the Muppets and whatnot. He fit right in.
I don't care what you say, the Little People's Court was the best little gimmick ever.
Yeah, and I mean, it's kind of sad. Like, I won't say this very often, but I will say it in this case. Like, WWE did have a minis division at one point, and Hornswoggle could have done something if if they had one. It's kind of like, you know, we talk a lot, and I mean, we got the Cruiserweight Invitational coming up now. But up until then, like, we've got all these fantastic high-flying, like, lightweight wrestlers. Wouldn't it be great if we had a division? Hornswoggle could really only hope to hold on to a career if they brought back the minis division, and as much as I wouldn't care either way, that's just not happening.
No, I mean, the closest thing to a minis division that we got was the freaking little feud between him and El Torito whenever they did the WLC match and everything.
Did you say the little feud?
Yes, I did say the little feud.
Anyway, whereas El Torito, there's even less to talk about because he was literally, I say, you know, Hornswoggle's been a prop in a lot of different ways. El Torito was literally a prop for one gimmick.
Yeah, he was a prop for one gimmick, which sucked because he's an actual wrestler. Like, he is a professionally trained wrestler, and he was, like, if you look him up and everything, look up his real name on Wikipedia or whatever, you can actually find matches with him wrestling in AAA.
Yeah. Our friend Cheney is in the comment section because I've got it popped up here as well. Destroying the reputation of the Cruiserweight title wasn't very comedic. Hashtag fuck you, Hornswoggle. I'm not here to say that he was in a lot of legitimate matches. Please don't get me wrong. I just say, like, when they put him in little funny things, Guapo, you just said, like Swerved, where he's pranking people and whatnot, little side comedic light things. He was a good thing for that. I'm not saying I ever wanted to see him in the ring necessarily, but Torito and Hornswoggle, the WLC and the matches that they had were amusing for what they were if you took them for what they were meant to be.
Yeah, and to Cheney, I understand your hate for the losing the Cruiserweight title like that, but you can't blame the guy. It's not his fault.
It's kind of like it's a cliche in wrestling where we always just say, you know, it's not that their fault, it's the writers, but it really is. And all that really did was prove that they had no more interest in having a Cruiserweight title at the time. And
in the words of Gene Snitsky, it's not my fault.
This is absolutely true. El Torito, same deal. A lot of things go for him. It's unfortunate that he was brought in only attached to one person, or sorry, one tag team with the Mexicans.
It sucks because that's all he was brought in for, but I know he'll end up going back to Mexico doing AAA and make his money.
Yeah. It's one of those things. Again, when I downplayed somebody like Rey Mysterio when he came to the WWE, people know my opinions on Rey Mysterio. But it's one of those.
Please do tell us your opinion on Rey Mysterio, Spaz.
Oh, Rey Mysterio sucked a lot of dick to stay in WWE. But I mean,
WWE and WCW. Wait, no, take it back. He was actually good in WCW.
Yeah, because he was in his element, and this is where I say with these two as well. WWE's problem is they took away the element that these guys flourish in and then wanted them to flourish anyway. They saw the popularity of Rey Mysterio. Who could blame WWE for bringing in Rey Mysterio after his popularity in WCW? But where was he popular? And it's the same thing here. Like, I'm not saying that the minis division would do good in 2016 WWE, but don't expect somebody to be good.
Years ago, when they did the WLC match, that was still like, oh, are they really doing this? And they went full retard with it.
They did, but you know what? At the same time, it was one of those.
They had a tiny freaking announce table. They had tiny chairs, tiny tables, and tiny ladders.
Yes. Well, at least that's the thing, though. They went stupid, but
you might as well just go full out, right?
Yeah, they went. I do give them credit for that, only on the basis that they went all the way with it. And it was on the pre-show, and it didn't really bug anybody.
Oh, I thought it was hilarious. I ate that.
What I'm going to talk about. Zeb Coulter.
He wasn't doing shit. I mean, he was great on the mic for when he was out there, but I don't think the last time I really remember seeing him was with Alberto when he first came back.
Yeah, I don't. This is where I kind of fall down. I don't have a lot of knowledge or experience of the Dirty Dutch Mantel days, but I do say he was a great talker. He's got a. You know, when you watch somebody talk and you see the ease and the comfortability they find in a gimmick. You can tell how long they've been there. You can tell that they've got something to offer. He could have managed somebody, or at least he could have been an asset, because one of the things that's sorely lacking in WWE right now is good managers. So you could have had him not necessarily as a manager, but as far as the creative and developmental team, whatever. If you have people that are there just to be managers and like not trying to be also divas or not trying to be also wrestlers in their own right, that are singular in that manager role. Think about like a Jim Cornette or a Jimmy Hart or somebody like that. Coulter seems like the kind of guy that could have worked with those people specifically.
Yeah, I agree.
Much the same way, as a Canadian, this is going to sound kind of funny, but like somebody like an Earl Hebner might not be able to referee anymore, but he could go in there and train referees.
Yeah.
And give them hints, give them even just, the proverbial sit under the learning tree type thing. So even if they weren't, like, obviously he wasn't used on screen. And, the Zeb Coulter gimmick could only work with certain people, but I think they could have found a backstage role for him and could have taken advantage. Because, like you say, somebody that's been in the business that long, maybe they don't necessarily have a prominent role, but find them a role so that they can be around as a sounding board, as a, hey, Zeb, what do you think of this? I'm trying to do this with my character. What would you suggest? Sort of just an asset on the shelf type of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's always great to have a manager types like, that's the whole reason why freaking Paul Heyman's still around. He's the manager, the advocate of Brock Lesnar. He's nothing else other than that. And he's one of those people who is, you can say he's respected, but there's so many people in the wrestling business who hate him just as much. But
even the people that hate him can't deny what he can do.
No, he is still one of the people who can pick a person out and say that man's going to be an amazing person down the line. Yeah,
and that's where I come into it once again. Whereas he's not only he can boost them verbally on screen, but he's that talent scout. It's that intangible element that he brings more so. And here's the thing too, and this is where I think WWE's really taking a step in the right direction. Where you used to have, you'd set up some random couple between a diva and a superstar, and that diva would also be in the manager role, where they're trying to be their own person and be this manager support person as well. What they're doing now with some of the managers, I'm assuming it's what they're going to do with Bob Backlund and Darren Young, even though I'm going to hate it. Maurice isn't trying to wrestle in the Divas division. She's there
to look hot.
To look hot and to support The Miz. Lana tried to wrestle once at WrestleMania, but she is a mouthpiece and a side piece and a support tool for Rusev. And I think having that line reestablished with how great the Divas division is now, especially, to have that line between the women that are there to be women and the women that are there to be women's wrestlers, we've reestablished that line. Lana's great, Summer Rae's great. Now think if they would get to sit around, round table style with somebody like a Dutch Mantel or a Jim Cornette or even a Paul Heyman. I mean, I'm sure Paul Heyman has some advice for them somewhere along the way, but great advice from Paul Heyman. You need to collect advice from a lot of different places. And I think they really missed the boat on having that asset in the back.
Yeah.
Okay. One that kind of bugs me more on the potential level than on the actual contribution level, and people are going to think this is funny because of how much I hate Naomi, Cameron.
No potential?
Really?
I don't think so. Just
with the Funkadactyl thing, it was what it was.
I mean, you can only do so much when you're the cheerleader for Brodus Clay.
Yes, and I mean, they were both handed a shit gimmick with that. I'll even give Naomi a bit of credit on that one. When they basically tried to turn her heel for no reason, when Brodus Clay left and they were the Funkadactyls for Xavier Woods for a while, that was kind of awkward. But then, they threw her in as a heel for virtually no reason other than the need to split up the team. Because first of all, one of the biggest things they had to contend with, Why are there tag teams in the women's division? Why? But I think, and this is not the only time I'm going to say this in this video, she was taking a really big swing at sort of reinventing herself in NXT. Not the greatest by any stretch of the imagination, but I feel like I might be on an island here, but I feel like she was taking a swing at sort of reinventing herself as a heel. Like,
she was giving it a shot. I totally agree, but the problem with it was that she was already a main roster person going back down to NXT that wasn't popular in any type of way to give Full Sail a reason to want her. And the fact is, like, the gimmick that she was trying to do, it wasn't working. And it also,
you know who that sounds like, though?
But hold on before we get to her.
Emma.
No, but the thing is, Emma has wrestling ability in her. So she was able to put over.
I mean, from the gimmick perspective.
Oh, gimmick perspective, I completely agree. But
Emma, she bombed on the main roster, went back to NXT, reinvented herself. I could have seen them doing a similar thing with Cameron, possibly a long shot, but worth seeing what a reboot could do.
Yeah, absolutely. But the fact that they were just trying to do the exact same gimmick for the main roster to NXT, it wasn't working.
No.
So
I think she was getting better. She sold like hell for Asuka when she debuted.
Yeah, but then again, to get kicked in the face isn't really hard to sell.
A slap into a cross arm breaker.
Yeah.
Just saying. And Kristen just said hi in the comment section, so hello, Kristen. Not really much else to say. I think, personally, they could have taken a harder shot at her reboot in NXT, but in reality, compared to the rest of the talent that's down there, maybe not so much.
It's hard to put someone over when they can't wrestle half as well as the girls that are already there.
But see, here's my, and I'm not going to belabor this point, here's my problem with NXT. NXT was originally created to be a developmental system to introduce new talent. And
that's what it is, though.
It did that in a great way. But you can't be introducing brand new people that are trying to make their first run in the business alongside people that have been doing it 20 years, albeit not in WWE. Like Baron Corbin got shit on in NXT for like not being good by comparison, but he was in there with guys like Samoa Joe. He was in there with guys like Kevin Owens. He was in there. So NXT, while it is a developmental system, it's more of a filtration system now. So the people that are using it in the developmental aspect have a really, like, they have an amazing opportunity in NXT. Don't get me wrong, but I think they have more of an uphill battle than they realize when not all the new guys are new.
I agree with you, but the little bit of a difference is that the ones who are already like been in the business, like Kevin Owens, Samoa Joe, Balor, Nakamura, the guys who have been doing this for 20 plus or 10 to 15, 20 years now, already know what they're doing, who have a fan base already, who are now made it to WWE. This is their last stepping stone till they get to the main roster.
Right.
This NXT for them, that's what it is. It's a stepping stone, a place that they know they have to go to make sure that they learn how WWE does things their way, and how that they can start building a character that WWE thinks that they should do, or just show WWE what they have.
Yeah.
What they can bring to the table.
I just think, like the biggest thing for me is, like, you got somebody that obviously struggled the first time around in WWE.
Yeah.
No question there. No question at all. But I have to question when you go to the developmental, which is where you're, developmental, no matter where you're developing, is supposed to be where you start from scratch. If you're somebody literally starting from scratch because whatever you did wasn't working, you're on the same roster as Asuka. I'm not saying that everybody should pity you, but that's tough. I'm not saying it's not fair, but I'm saying it's tough. Cheney says, this is off topic, but is Rhino still in NXT? I have no idea.
No, he's not.
Okay. Okay, another one. This isn't going to be very much because it's not very surprising, but Santino Marella has finally cut all his ties with WWE. We know that he was injured. I was actually at the house show in Toronto where he announced his retirement, and it kind of sucked. It was one of those, like, here's a guy I made fun of the entire time he was on the roster, and now he's fucked himself up, and now he has to retire. I feel bad for him, but at the same time, I can't, like, over exaggerate what he did because he was a comedy character on the very, very middle of the mid card. But he came back. I think he had like sort of a, not a Legends deal, but I'll come back every now and then for a backstage segment or a comedy bit, or, you know, he'd be the kind of guy that would show up on the Christmas specials or the Thanksgiving specials to hit somebody with a cake, that kind of thing, or he'll give the Cobra to somebody. I think this is a case of he's already gone. We're just making it official, or he's ridden out to the end of his contract.
Yeah, I mean, he was still going to like WrestleCon and stuff like that for WWE and everything like that, but he's not doing much anymore for the company. So allow the man to. You don't have to pay the man a check anymore. So
yeah, I think it's one of those.
It's still going to be one of those working relationships to where if he wants to come back to do like a little something, or if they ask him to come back, he's going to come.
I think if you had a not necessarily like a New Day type of comedy, but if you had another like comedy, like fun-loving tag team, I think you could almost see Santino Marella come back in a manager role for the right kind of comedy, but it would have to be the right kind of comedy. And let's be real, we talked about Emma a second ago. Emma coming up to the main roster being paired with Santino was kind of one of the nails in her coffin. Doesn't sound like a very nice thing to say.
It did nothing. It did nothing for her because the gimmick that she came up to the main roster with, it was fun, bubbly, whatever. But
it was Bayley done bad.
Yes, it was Bayley turned to about a 20 that was just shoved down your throat.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, but Santino Marella at the time had gotten him, and I feel really bad saying this now because he's injured and had to quit and whatever. But like I said, pairing Emma up with Santino Marella was kind of like WWE saying, "Yeah, we're not even going to try with Emma," which is a shitty thing to say. But I think in the end, it was the best thing ever to happen to Emma because she went back down to I shouldn't say down to NXT, but went back to NXT, created Hot Heel Emma, came back up.
Hot Heel Emma was the best thing she's ever done.
In 2 interviews, Charlotte has actually gone on record saying that she watches Emma matches and aspires to be as good as Emma one day.
Hey, that's a lot coming from the women's champ.
From Charlotte.
Yeah.
That's pretty heavy. Black Cat Feline in the comment section says Santino plus New Day equals. I don't know.
I don't think it's the right comedy. It's too. It's the same but different in too many ways.
Yeah, it would be like. I mean, you could definitely do it for Survivor Series, but it would be like New Day teaming up with Enzo and Cass.
Which would be good. I would pay money to watch that.
New Day has a real trombone and Santino played a fake one. Think of it. Thank you, Kristen. Anyways, next is the first on the long list of people that have actually asked to be released. King, Wade, or Bad News Barrett. I'm going to let you go first.
Well, I'm afraid I've got some bad news. This has been a ship that was going to sail a long time now. I had no ill will against Wade Barrett. His first run with the company, with the formation of the Nexus and everything, good.
And the Core.
Huh? And the Core. No, Core not so much, but Nexus, yes. He was good heel, going good places, and then he got hurt. comes back, does a gimmick somewhat the kind of same kind of face, gets hurt, comes back, gets hurt, comes back. Hey, guess what? He gets hurt again. And he comes back, and then he becomes King Barrett, and no one cares. Yeah.
The only thing, the Bad News Barrett gimmick was something they should have ran with.
Yes, Bad News Barrett was great because he was heel, but people loved it.
And people were into it. And it was a gimmick that you could have turned face without changing the gimmick. Look at New Day. WWE tried so hard to make New Day bad guys, but people liked them way too much. So the gimmick didn't change, but they just started facing heels.
Oh, I'll give this for example. I was at WrestleMania 30, and then I went to Raw the night after Mania 30. It was all whack. Everybody freaking cheered for heels when they should have been cheering for faces, and it was great. This was the last
like
night,
every Raw.
pretty much. This was the last night anyone had ever seen Rey Mysterio in a WWE ring.
Thank God.
His opponent was Bad News Barrett. When his music hit and he came out and did the Bad News gimmick, oh no, he didn't even come out and say anything. In the middle of the match, he stops, gets a mic, and starts doing, I'm afraid I got some bad news. The crowd lost their shit because it was great. Mysterio was like, what the fuck is going on?
Oh, that's what somebody that's over sounds like.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say, the one thing that I really wanted from Bad News Barrett that I never got, I loved watching him and Sheamus fight each other because they worked good brawls together. I would have loved, if they had not fucked up the League of Nations thing and thrown in Rusev and Alberto Del Rio, I think Barrett and Sheamus by themselves, if they had gelled more as a tag team, could have been decent heel tag team champions to put over a face tag team. Like, they would be the guys that you would use to put over somebody like Enzo and Cass, kind of like what they're doing with the Dudleys now. Not comparing them.
This is a really good opportunity. Instead of doing League of Nations, they could have did a European faction.
Yeah.
Or just a English faction. Have Barrett, have Sheamus, turn Neville heel, let him try something different, and turn someone else heel. Another person. I'm blanking on who the hell's English and shit now.
Neville?
Yeah, I said Neville.
Regal.
He's on NXT.
He could be their heel manager. He could do double team.
I would love that to happen, but or have a chick, have fucking what you call it? That bitch.
Paige?
No, the other one, the redhead one.
Eva Marie?
No, the Irish one.
Becky Lynch.
That one.
There you go.
Turn her heel and let her be a part of it.
Somebody said a while ago Becky Lynch and Finn Balor and Sheamus should start an Irish stable, and I'm like, oh, no. Keep Sheamus away from both of them. WWE TN Awful in the comment section says, that's the sad ballad of the Barrett Barrage. Return, push, get hurt. Kind of the case. I like the bare knuckle thing. I don't think they did it that well. The King Barrett thing killed him. Like, it really... The King thing is something... I do like the return of the King of the Ring. I wish they would do kind of like what they do with Baron Corbin right now. Just say, hey, this is the 2016 King of the Ring. When you introduce him to the ring, like you would announce any other title. Don't do the whole crown and cape bullshit. Do like they did in 2000... I'm going to forget the year now. But the year that Edge won, and he just got a friggin' trophy.
Or do the crown and cape thing and do
on the night
Steve Austin won. Steve Austin got the crowning cape, but he had it that night and then never wore it again.
Yeah, okay. I would say that on the night, but then like when you become like King Mabel, King Booker, King Regal,
No, hey, you said it. You said it wrong. It's not King Booker. It's King Booker.
Yeah. Although Charmel, all the Charmel.
Hey, she was probably the worst ever match ever. So, Kristen will tell you about it.
Really?
Or it was at TNA. Go figure.
Oh. Didn't she fight like some porn star or something like that?
Something like that. I don't know. Hey, Kristen, who did Charmel fight in the worst match ever?
Kristen's already
trust me,
bed, dude.
Watch it, and it is terrible.
Victory Road 09.
No, that whole shit was bad, so I don't know.
Okay.
Now I'm waiting for Kristen to tell me.
It's not necessarily a sad thing. He's asked for his release. He's going to get it. He's probably got a 60 or a 90-day
I thought he got it already.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like he's already, like, they've granted it already. So it's not like a sad, like, you got released thing. He's not injured right now that we know of. He got sort of beaten the crap out of the League of Nations, and that was his last appearance on Raw, which is kind of a shitty way to go out.
Monday after Raw.
But Monday after Raw?
Yeah, Monday after Mania, that's what I meant.
There we go.
Hey, words and things and stuff and shit.
You know, I've heard that he's going to do more acting stuff. I don't know how good he is. I haven't seen anything with him in it. He does always have the option of going somewhere else. I could see him maybe taking a jab at ROH or even TNA if they get...
I don't think he'll wrestle for a little while. I think, if anything, he'll take a break and he will...
Well, he has to. Like, they all, WWE, or to the best of my knowledge anyway, all the WWE contracts have either a 30-day or a 90-day non-compete where you can't be on anybody's televised product anyway. So
might be 30
go around and do like little like house shows and whatever for somebody, I guess, if nobody tells on him. But that's about it. I mean, he's asked for it, so obviously he's got some sort of plan lined up. Because here's my thought on this, and it's going to come up again.
Hornswoggle was on a freaking on a poster for Global Force the day after he was released.
Yes, but the thing about it is if it's televised, when will that episode be televised? Like, you know how they do NXT, they do 4 or 5 episodes in one weekend, and then they've got them in the can, and they release them week by week by week. Sure. It might, and I'm not a big legalese person, so don't take this as gospel, but it could be a case of, like, he was at the recording on this date, but it might not hit TV till a month later. I mean, with Hornswoggle, I don't think they're going to push his contract negotiations that hard anyway, because, I mean, like I say, he's a side character. Like, what is he gaining or losing? And he hasn't been on WWE TV in a long time either, so they might forego that. My thought, though, is Wade Barrett hasn't done much on TV. He's still getting a paycheck, obviously, up until this point. So getting paid to not do anything, you wouldn't ask for that to stop unless you had something else on the horizon. So he's probably okay, and probably one of the better stories that we're talking about so far. Not necessarily a release, but you really have to wonder what him and his tag team partner are doing, where they're going. Connor from the Ascension, suspended after a second drug-related offense, wellness policy. I don't know why they bother calling it a unknown wellness policy violation when we pretty much know that means he's on some sort of
weed.
What?
Smoking the weed, dude.
Yes.
Just hitting that peace pipe, dude. Real good. Yeah, real good. I don't know what I'm doing.
You got to put the mask back on, man. You don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Fuck, God damn it. All right, guys. Senor Guapo here once again for another awesome tackle. All right.
Not quite.
All right, we're starting the video now, right?
Yeah, we're on. Go.
All right, got it.
The one thing I will say about Connor in this case, that what makes this extra shitty, you know, if he's suspended, they're not doing anything with Victor.
Yeah, I mean,
okay, I should backtrack that statement for a second. They're not doing that much with the Ascension anyway. Let's be real. But Connor not being able to be there because he's suspended fucks Victor super hard.
Oh, I mean, Victor's fucked basically now, because if Connor does get to come back from this, what the fuck do you do with the Ascension? I mean, they weren't shit before this, and what the fuck they're going to do now?
Well, here's the thing, though, right? Like, you can always repackage them, because the thing with the Ascension when they came up to the main roster is they tried too hard with them. Like, they got the big LOD shoulder pads, and they started doing the face paint, which was really unnecessary in NXT. If they scaled them back a little bit and just made them like a really impactful, strong team, sort of go back to basics, back to really simple, I think they could give them a push in like a year or so, a couple of months. Problem is if somebody repeatedly has wellness policy violations, they're less and less and less and less likely to get a push or a revamp or another chance at anything. So now you got to imagine that punishment factor is being visited on his tag team partner as well. Because I don't know if Victor has ever been a singles star or if they would even pursue that, but you're taking down more than just yourself at that point.
He's in the ring, but I don't see him as a single star going for singles titles.
Doing the cruiserweight thing, is he small enough?
He's not big. He's too big.
Then Connor has a lot of apologizing to do, especially to his tag team partner. I don't think.
Look at TNA.
Thing is, like, they would put. I haven't watched TNA in a long time, but I can see them putting Ascension in there with like Crazy Steve and Abyss and Daphne and Raven, whoever else they can dredge up.
Yeah.
I don't know, not much to say on this one other than just get your act together, and if you're gonna do stupid shit, don't get caught. Moving on. Another one that's not really a huge surprise, really more of a tying up the loose ends like the Santino Marella deal. The in-ring competitor portion of Christian's contract has expired, and he's officially retired as an in-ring competitor. WWE was very specific in saying that this does not affect his ability to be on the network and participate in their programming that way. It literally is the thing that says he's not going to have any more matches, which we already know because he's already retired because of injury. Sort of tying up the loose ends. Cool to see that he'll still be on their alternative programming, though.
But one more match.
No.
One more match.
One more match lights a fire that burns the whole building down, bro.
True.
There's not really much to say. Like, he's on the list of people that have been released, but he's only been released from a wrestling contract, not an entertainer's contract. The Edge and Christian show, which I haven't seen a whole lot of, but I've seen...
Edge and Christian shows that totally reeks of awesomeness.
Yes. I haven't seen a whole lot of it because the on-demand portion of the Canadian WWE network is kind of shit, not going to lie, and I'm doing other things when it's on live. But it's funny. These guys could just be on TV doing shtick for the rest of their career if they wanted to.
I mean, the Edge and Christian show that totally reeks of awesomeness is hilarious to watch.
Yes.
And the
Christian go in the Hall of Fame with his buddy Edge.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Now the bigger question is, they both should go in there individually. Do you induct them again as a tag team? I say yes.
Yeah, absolutely. They definitely get inducted as a tag team because they were part of the big three of the tag team division that made the WWE tag team division a thing.
Yeah. I mean, the no-brainer inductees to the WWE Hall of Fame are the Hardys and the Dudleys whenever the Dudleys decide to stop and whenever the Hardys leave TNA.
And if you ever talk about Edge and Christian, you have to talk about the Dudleys. You have to talk about the Hardys. There's no question about it.
Yeah. And, like, it was... I'll go back to it for a second. At the time where those three teams were a thing, if the tag team match of the night involved any other teams, you just kind of sat there and you were like, why?
Yeah.
Edge has already gone in as a singles competitor, but I think I'm totally off track, but I think if you induct these three teams, they all go in the same year and they all induct each other.
A table will be broken.
Yes.
Jeff Hardy will be the one to go through it.
Yes. But I think, like, And people are going to think this is ridiculous, but I really do think this would be cool because they're so well known for those triple threat matches. Edge, Christian, and the Hardys induct the Dudleys. Edge, Christian, and the Dudleys induct the Hardys. Dudleys and Hardys induct Edge and Christian.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Or at least like Edge and Christian induct the Hardys. Hardys induct the Dudleys. Dudleys induct whatever you want to do. But I think it should be mutual, much like Christian as a single star should be inducted by Edge.
Yeah.
Like there's nobody else, especially after he inducted Edge when Edge went in. Doesn't make any sense to not do it any other way.
Right.
Brooklyn Brawler.
Brooklyn Brawler.
I don't bring this up like I do any of the other ones. I bring this up for those of us out there that are loyal listeners to the Taz show. Do you listen to the Taz show, Guapo?
Negative Ghost Rider.
You should. It's good. It's funny as hell. He's got a morning show every morning that talks about wrestling.
I need to listen
as a podcast later on in the day. Reviews Raw, SmackDown, NXT, all the pay-per-views, a little bit of Lucha, a little bit of ROH. Refuses to review TNA, which is fucking hilarious. But no, he rips. Cheney says if they did somewhat of a tag team theme for the Hall of Fame ceremony, then yes, altogether. Other than that, I'm on the fence about it. Okay. Like I say, I didn't think many people would agree with me, but that's okay. Angry Mark says hello. Hello, Angry Mark.
Hola, Angry Mark.
Now, what's happened is apparently there is some sort, if you believe what is said on the show, there is some sort of bad blood between Taz and the WWE. WWE won't give him any guests for the show, won't let anybody from the WWE on the show. Now, he had a live show set to do live on the radio immediately after WrestleMania. He was going to do a 2-hour review of WrestleMania live on the radio, which was really badass. He was at another radio station advertising this the week of WrestleMania. Now, the guy that interviewed him interviewed Roman Reigns first. And Roman Reigns had an earpiece in with his, I guess, handler from the WWE. Angry Mark says, I'm late because Kristen isn't here, just saying. That's...
What's wrong, Angry Mark? Am I not good for you enough, huh? Huh?
Oh, no.
See how it is. Mm-hmm.
Anyways, but it was just hilarious because Roman Reigns was being interviewed immediately before Taz. So Taz is, like, in, I guess, their waiting area or whatever. And the guy that's hosting, I think it was the Tiki and Tyranny show, which is a radio show in New York. And the guy and Roman Reigns has an earpiece in, his handler from WWE, making sure he doesn't say anything he's not supposed to say, right? And so the guy's like, "Oh, there's Taz. Do you know Taz, by the way?" And all you hear is Roman Reigns, she's counting me down, guys. And then he leaves the show.
No, I do not know who Taz is. No.
No, but it was just like he left the scene of the crime pretty much because Taz reviews Raw and SmackDown and all that sort of thing. So WWE won't give him the time of day. But then they went on and did a thing. He was looking at he was talking on his show about this map that the WWE.com guys did. And it was all the different states and famous wrestlers from the different states. And it's like that person's name was typed out like in the shape of the state. And the guy that they chose for New York was the Brooklyn Brawler.
Uh-huh.
And Taz spent the whole show ripping the WWE because the Brooklyn Brawler is actually from Michigan or some shit. And so the day goes on. Brooklyn Brawler comes on to Twitter and scans in his birth certificate from New York as a response to Taz, right? Like posts his birth certificate on Twitter. So the next day, Taz is on the show. He's like, I've been proven wrong. Turns out he grew up in Michigan, but he actually was born in New York. And then he gets a caller in, and it's the Brooklyn Brawler. And so you got Taz and the Brooklyn Brawler going on this show. Literally 2 days later, Brooklyn Brawler gets announced that he's being released.
I mean, it could be worse.
I'm not saying, but it is a funny story if it's true, because that's really petty.
When you're told you're not supposed to do something, you're not supposed to do something. Oh.
Yeah. I would understand it to a certain... Here's the thing, and here's where my bias comes in a little bit. I don't care about the Brooklyn Brawler, I'll be honest. I would understand if it was like an on-screen talent. Like if Roman Reigns had gone on the Taz show, or Ambrose, or... because Ambrose got interviewed on another podcast I listened to called the Bear Hug It Out podcast, which everybody should go listen to because it's hysterical. But that's another story for another day. If somebody... Or if John Cena, or if, you know... Kevin Owens or whatever had been on the show after being told not to, there's a quite visible WWE property on somebody else's show in breach of contract. That's a huge deal. Who even knew that Brooklyn Brawler still worked for WWE until it was announced that he was fired?
I did.
I didn't know.
Only from his Twitter. That's it.
Okay, I don't follow him on Twitter.
I don't follow him on Twitter too, but people that I follow retweet him sometimes.
Fair enough, but it's like I don't think anybody would have known unless you decided it to be an issue. And I'm not saying that that is the issue. Other than that, I guess it could be another case of just, you know, his contract ran out, his job was his job in the back was amalgamated with another job, etc. But it was just the timing of it was hysterical, and that's really the only reason I bring it up. Speaking of hysterical, Ryback.
Stupid.
Ryback is not a happy guy, to say the least. If you follow him on Twitter, Ryback bitched about his placement at WrestleMania very publicly, which I get it because they had admission issues at the stadium. And people didn't get in, so a lot of people weren't even watching his match for the U.S. title. That's frustrating. That's also not 100% WWE's fault.
No, that's not WWE's fault at all. That was the AT&T Stadium's fault on that matter.
Yeah, but here's the thing. That being said, you know, you can bitch about being on the pre-show. You are still part of the 6-hour extravaganza that was WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I know it's to a much lesser extent, but also you're Ryback.
You're also Ryback. You are also the guy who other wrestlers have been quoted saying that their lifespan is shortened because of working with you.
And you've got a title shot.
And you wear a fucking weight belt that calls yourself the big guy.
And a month later, you wore a belt that said pre-show stopper.
Yeah.
But I mean, here's the thing: Ryback's not great. There have been times where I've enjoyed Ryback, found him funny, found, you know, him destroying people great, and he's good in that role to a certain extent as long as he doesn't kill anybody. But here's the thing, and here's where you have to use a little bit of common sense, right? Anybody, and I know basically WWE these days tries to get the entire roster onto the show for WrestleMania so that everybody can get a WrestleMania paycheck, unless your name is Titus O'Neil.
Ha!
But you should still feel lucky to a certain degree if you are a wrestler and you get to have any on-screen part of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Let alone facing somebody as popular as Kalisto.
For a title.
For a title. It was going to be my next point. Now, you can bitch about him being on the pre-show, whatever. Here's the deal. WrestleMania is the hood ornament.
Yeah.
Right? Not only for wrestling in general, but especially for WWE. How much do you think that entire card is scrutinized over the course of the year? The placement, who's going to face who, what the stories are going to be, etc. How much do you think that's gone over and over and over, and we kill notepads and we burn out our laptops until everything is just so the way we want it for WrestleMania? Regardless of whether it works out or not, regardless of whether or not WrestleMania is good or not, that's not my point. But how much does WWE as a whole, from Vince McMahon all the way down, scrutinize over WrestleMania right up until the night of the show?
I mean, every waking moment.
So you're going to have WWE put you in that spot and then rip them for it. You're going to rip the way they put their hood ornament together after giving you a title shot that some would probably say you don't deserve. And then on top of that, to add in, not only are they not treating me properly, oh, you know, I was fighting for the U.S. title. WWE doesn't respect the United States Championship. Now, we all sort of share the idea that unless John Cena's holding it, the U.S. title's more or less a joke. It has high points and low points, but whatever. But you don't go to the company if you want to still have a job and say, hey, you put your main show of the year together shitty and you're dragging your own belt through the mud. Even if it's fully true, you don't go up to your boss and say that.
Especially when they could have easily told you, hey, guess what? You're not going to have a match this year. You're going to be one of the guys wearing a mask walking out with what you call it, Triple H.
And you know what the thing is? The funny thing is a couple years beforehand when he came out and he was in like all the gold stuff out of the castle and whatnot, and you had the girls with the gold masks on. Yep. They were all girls from NXT.
Yep.
And they were all, you saw them interviewed afterward. They were all like, I know Sasha Banks was one of them, Charlotte was one of them, and I think Alexa Bliss was one of them.
Yes, she was.
And they were all bawling at the opportunity to do just that and not even have anybody know who they were.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ryback's there fighting a popular guy for a title at WrestleMania, and he's going to pull that shit on them. He might be completely right in what he's saying. I'm not debating the content of what he's saying. But I also don't blame WWE for telling him to go fuck himself a little bit on that one.
No.
Now, not only that, does he caveat it off with, well, maybe the big guy needs to go find another universe to wrestle in.
Go for it. Go to the sinking ship that is TNA, because your ass is not going to get a job at ROH, especially not used at ROH. Your ass couldn't hang with people in New Japan. And Jeff Jarrett would be stupid to give you any shot at frickin' at Global Force.
Yeah, and I haven't seen Lucha Underground.
He wouldn't hang with people at Lucha Underground because the big guys that they have at Lucha Underground are at least athletic enough to hang with the people who are high-flying, going all over the place.
Yeah, you got like the Apollo Crews type of athlete. Yeah.
Correct.
I haven't seen. I'm leaning on you for the knowledge of Lucha Underground, but no, like where's he gonna go?
TNA is the only place.
TNA is the only place. GFW if they're desperate.
I don't even see GFW going for him.
Yeah. They went for Chris Masters though.
Chris Masters is at least a decent enough athlete.
See, here's the thing, though. I won't entirely say that Ryback sucks. He has done some things. He has worked way too stiff with guys, and he has hurt guys. But a lot of people have done that, so I can't really hold that against him. I can't say I've never enjoyed a Ryback match. I really can't, because he has done some pretty cool stuff. He has done some funny stuff. He has done some really intense stuff. My attack on him isn't for his in-ring work. The character kind of sucks, but again, that's partially WWE's fault. I'm saying strictly on his backstage decisions, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm not attacking the athlete at all, really.
And that's the thing. He won't be able to walk into any other company with his extraneous, that's a word, amount of publicity on how shitty of a person he is backstage. If you can't be a good locker room guy,
I don't know. They hired Hogan,
but that's because it's Hogan.
This is true.
His name is Hulk Hogan. When you say Hulk Hogan, everybody knows him. You say Ryback, someone's like, who?
Yeah. No, but see, here's the thing though. He doesn't own the name Ryback. He would have to go to TNA and try to make Ryan Reeves mean something.
He would have to go to TNA and be like, I'm Skip Sheffield.
No, because that's WWE product too.
No one would care. Unless he changed his name to Ryberg.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah, I went there.
Son of Goldberg.
Goldberg would come back from retirement like, motherfucker, you ain't mine.
He's not retired. He had some like awkward ass fight with Scott Steiner in a freaking baseball diamond like a couple months ago.
Huh?
I saw the video. It was really weird. Anyways, and to put the real nail in his coffin, because he's asked for his release. I don't know whether he's gotten it yet or not. They have sent him home on an extended, not suspension, but they've given him an extended leave to, I guess, cool off or whatever. But during the Extreme Rules pay-per-view on Sunday, he put out a tweet that said, "Feed me extreme retweets if you want to see me in the Impact Zone."
Really? What the actual fuck? You are a fucking idiot. God.
Angry Mark says Guapo has sexy hair. Sorry if I just went gay there for a minute.
That's all right, bro.
At least Guapo has hair. Spaz has got a condition.
Look. Right back.
Okay, that doesn't help you with WWE. That I don't know how you think it helps you, but it doesn't help you with TNA. Because if he does have a conversation going with TNA, you don't bring it to light while you're still under contract, because TNA could get in shit at that point. If you're not in conversations with TNA, they might think you're pushing their hand, which doesn't help you in the... I don't care if it is TNA, that doesn't help you in a meeting with anybody.
Look, Ryback, go to TNA. See how that goes for you. Make Dixie smile, I guess, because she's lost her smile lately.
Yeah, go to Dixie's office and feed her more.
Yeah, feed her more of your shit. Quick second. Cheney in the comments put, I know I'm burning Axe to Phoenix, but bit on this, but Ryback versus Rey Mysterio, who would win?
A guy that hurts people versus a guy that gets hurt all on his own. I gotta say Ryback's gonna win unless Rey Mysterio kills him.
619 into a fucking whatever the fuck.
The 619 is now called the RIP.
Shell shock.
Oh.
Shell shock all your way over to fucking Impact Zone and just go.
619 Tombstone. Except the Tombstone is real, because you're dead. Anyways, Ryback's a goner. He's been sent home for a break so that he can be at home.
By break, WWE means until they figure out, okay, how much money can we pay him to say fuck off? Yeah.
The sad thing is, in all honesty, like I say, I haven't watched TNA in a long time. I could see them making him champion.
Yeah, definitely. Only because he's from WWE.
But see, here's the thing, though, and here's where, again, I give credit where nobody really wants to give me credit. There are a few people that WWE discarded that TNA made better.
Absolutely, I agree completely.
EC3, Drew McIntyre, Galloway, whatever. We gave him K-Quick and we got back R-Truth. It's a slight upgrade.
I mean, he came back a shade darker.
Can't say shit like that on my channel, man. They already think I'm right.
It's okay. I mean it with love because I like R-Truth. I do.
In all seriousness, there is a slight chance that Ryback could go to TNA and improve. The problem with that is
he's not going to come back.
He doesn't fight like a PG guy. He looks like he wants to get let loose in a more reckless fight, right? And I think TNA would definitely let him do it. You could get a little bit of mileage out of, say, Ryback. Who's a fucking big guy over there? Like Ryback versus Matt Morgan or Ryback versus Abyss.
Is fucking Bobby Lashley still on TNA?
No, we made him slightly more athletic and called him Apollo Crews.
Ha!
Hashtag not racist. Anyways, moving on. I don't really want to make many jokes on this one because it is kind of really not so funny. Adam Rose.
It sucks on the fact that from the reports I've read and everything of the things that happened after he was put on suspension for wellness policy. Okay, hold on. Let's back it up. Let's start from his suspension. He was suspended on the second term of his wellness policy for 60 days. He even tweeted and said that it was a wrongful suspension because the medicine he was taking was prescription from a doctor, and he had a doctor's written excuse for him to have that drug in his system.
Right.
And it wasn't anything bad. It was just like a painkiller.
Okay, I'll stop you there because here's my first part of the problem. And this is where I go back to the whether you're right or wrong, use some common sense thing. If WWE suspends you for something and you think it was wrong, go get your documentation, deal with it with your
Bring it to the office and
don't call your WWE don't call your employer out on social media, because even if you're right, that doesn't help.
Not even a little bit.
Because your doctor's going to drop you because your doctor doesn't want to go within 10 miles of a conflict like that. It's one of those things. It shouldn't matter. Like, if you're right and they've wronged you, you should be able to call them on it in a perfect world. But it ain't a perfect world. And if you call your boss out, even if he is wrong, that's only going to hurt you. That's the first part.
Yeah.
Then during his suspension,
after his suspension, he was arrested for domestic abuse or
domestic violence and tampering with a witness. Now, the domestic violence was apparently, this is various reports that I've read, and I don't know what the facts are entirely, but apparently he more or less chokeslammed his girlfriend for real.
Wife,
like did something by the throat.
From the reports I read and I saw, it was him. They were arguing, and
he grabbed her.
He just grabbed her, but by the jaw, like this, like that, or I don't know.
By the mandible.
Yeah, correct. And apparently that was as much as it escalated as what he said, and from the different reports I've read.
Now, further from that, when she tried to call the 911 or the cops or whoever she tried to call, he took the phone away from her, which is shitty. But apparently that's where the tampering with a witness thing came from.
Right.
Yeah. None of this is obviously acceptable. Like, there's no, like, this is me. I like to have fun. Whatever. There's nothing fun to say about this.
No, nothing whatsoever. And from other reports that I've read with it was that after the fact, after him getting booked, going to the jail and everything like that, going before a judge, his wife even came in and said, everything was blown out of proportion. She's sorry. All she wants is her husband home.
Yeah, but you have to think, and this isn't anything I've read. This is my own personal take on it. You have to wonder if that, when somebody has something legitimately happen to them, but then the person gets rightfully punished for what they did,
right?
They'll end up feeling that. You have to wonder if it's something like that, or I shouldn't have told on him. He's my husband. Doesn't make what he did right, but I'm still going to stand by my man type thing, which is a scary thought. But I don't know, super like for WWE especially, like nobody's going to touch you after that. But especially WWE with the family friendly product and the PG rating and the working with the kids and whatnot, it's really not. Oh, Guapo's taking a walk. He's really just Guapo's taking a walk. Guapo's getting a drink. I'm doing commentary on Guapo going to take a drink.
Nobody can see me.
They could kind of see you. I could see you in your fridge.
No, you could. Like, if I wasn't talking, they couldn't see me.
Nobody's going to touch you in general after this kind of shit, right? Especially when it's been so publicized because you are a public figure in the WWE. And a lot of people are going to say, well, it's just Adam Rose. He's on the bottom of the card with some goofy gimmick. Who's going to care? He's still on TV. He's still a public figure in that realm. And especially if you're a company like WWE, who's family friendly, who's aiming at the kids, who's trying to appease the soccer moms. No, you're not, like, you can say that he's on an extended leave, and finally he did ask for his release, and it was granted, I think, yesterday. but nobody's going to touch you after that. And it's not, I'm not even ripping Adam Rose, because apparently his wife also has some kind of health issue. He's dealing with nagging injuries. They have a special needs kid.
Yeah. I just watched their ESPN 30 for 30 today.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of that. This is just what I've heard. You got like I say, a special needs kid, which I don't have kids. I can't even imagine what that's like. And apparently a sick wife, and you got to be away from both of them, and you're trying to make this career work, and they give you the Adam Rose gimmick, and sort of nothing's going your way, and they try to call you a druggie just because you're taking your meds that you've been prescribed. A couple people have said it in the comment section, and I'm going to try and say this as tactfully and as respectfully as I possibly can. I hope he doesn't go and do something stupid.
No, because in the end,
he's a human being.
I wish nothing but the best for him. I hope he gets the help that he needs. And like I said, I watched the ESPN 30 for 30 on Behind the Curtain, NXT, stuff like that, and he was one of the ones that they followed. In that little special, he even said that when he was younger, he had a drinking problem and stuff like that, and he got clean and everything because he really wanted to pursue his things with wrestling. Yeah. And one of the reasons why he had the gimmick change to Adam Rose, from Leo Kruger to Adam Rose, was Triple H was one of the ones that said he didn't see that he had it in him to do the evil gimmick and stuff like that.
What, because he saw him as being a good person?
Well, because he was having fun in the ring and stuff like that. He felt like he couldn't transition from the good guy that he is in normal life to this evil, like, demented type character that he was trying to portray with Leo Kruger. He had it, but translating it down from just talking and stuff like that to the ring, it wasn't.
Oh, he could play the part, but he couldn't be that evil in the ring?
Yes, and also because he couldn't feel that gimmick would go over with the fans to where that they would want that more.
So like they wouldn't believe him on like a Mankind level.
Correct.
Okay. The other thing I was saying, just because you mentioned the word dark, right? And Leo Kruger, the little bit that I saw of it on NXT, was pretty dark. I have to imagine playing a dark character like that when you have so many real life dark things happening in your life might be a bit of an overload. Like if like I say, you got a career that doesn't really have any aspirations of really going anywhere. You just said, like, he used to be an alcoholic. He's been accused of abusing drugs that he's actually supposed to be taking. His wife is sick. His kid has, his own struggles. I really do lean, actually, as you're telling me more stuff right now, I really do lean more and more and more to the whole, I don't want to say it, but I really don't want to wake up tomorrow or in a couple of days and read that headline that none of us really want to read.
Yeah. He's, from things I've seen with him and read with all this new stuff coming out, I feel like he's a good person, especially because he's trying to do everything for his kid, for his wife, to support them. And I mean, my mom's a former teacher. She's a retired school teacher, so I've been around it my whole life to where I've seen kids with special needs and stuff like that and different conditions and everything. It's difficult. And I have one of my best friends, she just graduated from college, and one of her major is for special education and everything like that.
It's one of those things you don't know unless you're involved in it.
No.
Or unless you're experiencing it, or somebody, or...
And his kid, for example, it's nothing with mental or anything like that. His kid was born with a his liver and his intestines were outside of his body instead of inside of his body. So his kid had gone through 5 or 6 different surgeries before he was even 4.
So it's a physical recoup.
Correct. So Like in the ESPN
I wasn't aware of
it was showing how they feed him.
I wasn't aware of the extent of what it was. I just know that his kid had some struggles.
Yeah.
It's one of those, you look at Adam Rose, and I went back, and it's not like you can exactly go online and find like an Adam Rose highlight reel, but you go back and like you just pull up some old Adam Rose, and you see him like doing his the what do you call it, the Exotic Express on the way to the ring, and you see him and he's dancing around, and you kind of look at him for a second, and it's like, that dude is miserable. And I have to be careful when I say this, because there is not an excuse for some of the things that he's done. Was it stupid to call out the WWE on his medical shit? Yeah. Was he right? Maybe. But was it stupid to call him out? Yeah. Do you friggin' lay your hand on your wife because of what's going on? Absolutely not. But I look at the guy, and the more I hear about the story, the more we hear coming out bits and pieces, especially now with the legal ramifications of it. You just really get the idea that this is a guy that's struggling, that's trying to, I don't want to get super sappy here, but like, he's trying to get some good shit off the ground, and it's just like, it's that quintessential, like, nothing's catching, nothing's falling into place, nothing.
That was one of the whole things behind the social outcast stuff. It was because he wanted to try something different from this Adam, besides being Adam Rose. You wanted to try something to where, okay, I'll do this TMZ spinoff type thing as the Adam Rose gimmick, and then also do this stuff with Social Outcast, because at least I'm still out there and I'm trying something different.
Yeah. Even if you want to look at it as an excuse of like, hey, WWE, you don't have to put me in one role. It's gonna sound funny, but I kind of hope TNA picks him up.
Yeah.
Angry Mark said it in the comment section. I hope TNA signs Adam Rose because everybody deserves a second chance. I hate to say it, he's not stepping back into WWE.
I feel like after some time and some wounds are healed and he could prove himself again, I feel like he could come back to WWE. But it would be under.
I wouldn't lean on it, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see that, but I can see your point behind that. But I could also see him possibly going to TNA or coming back to WWE. Not within the year, within 2 years, a couple years down the line.
Maybe. Like I say, we've stayed a long time on this one. It is kind of, it's sad more than it. Like I say, the rest of these we can joke about to some degree, but this one's kind of a little more on the serious side. So we're coming to the end of that. The next two are kind of grouped together, not really a release, just sort of on that, they're being very vocal and outspoken about how disgruntled they are with the company. Paige and Alberto Del Rio.
Yep.
And I bring this up because apparently what they've been doing the past week or so is be very active on social media, getting their picture taken at lots of indie events, lots of events for other companies. Not like participating, but like, hey, I was hanging out at this show and this fan just happened to take my picture. I was hanging out at this show and this fan just happened to take my picture, which I don't know what the language is in their contracts or whatever, but that's got to be some thin ice for that, because Alberto Del Rio has a certain level of fame. Paige definitely has a certain level of fame. Anybody takes their picture with you, it's going to be up there on social media.
Yeah, absolutely. And I didn't even see the stuff with them at other events, but I just seen the stuff with them kissing and together at different.
Which apparently ruined the storyline, because apparently WWE wanted to do a storyline where Charlotte and Paige were fighting over the women's title and Del Rio.
Huh. Interesting.
Which
I didn't know about that. Well, I knew that I heard something that apparently Del Rio was talking to Charlotte, actually. And then him and Paige hooked up.
Cheney says Paige and Del Rio on the chopping block. The fuck? I'm not saying that they are on the chopping block. I'm just thinking, the more I hear about this, the more they're just skating under the line of something WWE could nail them for.
I don't see Paige getting chopped.
They've already chopped Del Rio once.
That was his own fault, though.
Guy shouldn't have been a racist douchebag for
It
sure.
wasn't really his fault. It was the dumbass person that he had to slap for his own macho-ness.
Well, also PG company racism is not okay.
No. Paige, on the other hand,
Hasn't been on TV for a while.
she has been on TV on two aspects. One, haven't been really booking her on stuff just because they've been trying to push Charlotte and do shit with like her and Becky and Bailey. No,
Becky?
Tasha.
Ah.
Sorry. And also, she has been rehabbing an injury.
Yeah, but also, like, it kind of sucks. I get for Paige because, like, when the new influx of NXT divas came up, and it was Charlotte, and it was Becky, and it was Sasha, and it was like, look at these awesome girls from NXT, whereas Paige really paved the way for all of them and kind of got pushed to the back.
She got pushed to the back for a... Yeah, but the thing is, with this influx of divas, if you notice, every Raw now, we have been pretty much getting 2 diva segments. At least. This last Raw, not so much.
If you think about the way things were going before Emma got her injury and whatnot, you had Charlotte and Natalya that were fighting for the title, and you had Becky versus Emma and Dana Brooke, which was apparently supposed to bring Bailey up. Now, if you have those 2 feuds going on, where does that leave Paige? And like I say, she's sort of the first diva to transition from the current iteration of NXT and become really successful in the main roster. I mean, the previous NXT, you had Caitlyn, you had AJ, obviously.
Right.
But when they reinstituted it, and when they introduced the NXT Women's Championship, where the finals of that match were of that tournament were Emma and Paige, so she sort of became the flag bearer for the women's division on NXT when it was getting going, to then come to the main roster and translate all that, to then be pushed to the back burner while we talk about all the NXT women over here that are great, and then Paige is kind of over here. I get it. I don't think, taking shots of... It kind of makes me think of, like, some girl has a fight with her boyfriend, so she goes and hangs out with all her friends and takes a selfie with every male friend she has. Like, she's not doing anything wrong, but it's meant to send a message. That's kind of the vibe I get.
Yeah. I mean, even Sasha hasn't been on TV lately either, though.
Yeah, but Sasha's apparently nursing a concussion.
I didn't know she had a concussion.
I only heard that as of recent. The rumor was she was being held off to slowly, to do like a slow burn feud in the background with Charlotte. Like, Charlotte would have her feuds at Payback and Extreme Rules and Money in the Bank, but Sasha would always kind of be in the background, and then it would blow off at SummerSlam, which is, I think, what we all want to see at this point.
Yeah.
But it was going to be something else happening in the background, like Charlotte's facing such and such, but she's still got Sasha to worry about, like that kind of idea. But even if that is the case, even still, where does that leave Paige? And I mean, those ideas were nixed because apparently Sasha has a concussion. But again,
what the hell's going on with freaking Dana Brooke being there? But okay.
Yeah, they've switched her from Emma to Charlotte because Emma fucked herself up.
But yeah, she got hurt.
Emma had to have back surgery.
Yeah, Zack Ryder tweeted that he was there for it and everything went well.
If Angry Mark says a little off topic, but do you think it would be cool to see Stephanie McMahon with the women's title? No, because then Paige would have one more person to compete with.
Stephanie McMahon, no, because as much as I liked her when she was doing a little wrestling and stuff in the Attitude Era, I don't think I would like it anymore, just for the pure fact that Stephanie McMahon's great and all, but she's not a wrestler. Yeah, she's not a wrestler.
And I mean, especially right now when they're trying to put so much emphasis on the talent in the women's division, I think Stephanie McMahon has been the champion of that behind the scenes. The last thing she wants to do is step in and be a non-wrestler with the belt.
Exactly. It would be like having freaking
Shane.
go for the title right now.
It would be like Shane being the IC champion or something like that.
It would be like Shane having the WWE Championship.
Although Shane versus, as much as it makes no sense, Shane versus Triple H for the belt would make me laugh.
It'd be good. I'd watch. I'd watch it.
Shane walks into the building, finds something tall. I'm gonna jump off that.
Yep, that looks. No, it needs to be higher.
They're gonna go to an open stadium. He's just gonna do like his big elbow drop out of a helicopter, Sting style.
Pretty much. Only problem is it would end up like Owen Hart.
Ooh.
Yeah, I went there.
Long drop and a sudden stop.
Oh.
I'm really going to hell for that one.
Yeah, we are.
Anyways, I really hope they don't mess up Alberto Del Rio again. Sticking him in the League of Nations. Like, League of Nations, for the other three guys there, they weren't doing anything, and they needed a group to be in, even though it was bad. Throwing Alberto Del Rio in there at the last minute was a shitty move and a waste of Alberto Del Rio. The match that he had with Kalisto before Payback, I think, or was it before Extreme Rules, reminded me why I like Alberto Del Rio. And spoiler alert for people that are actually going to watch SmackDown tomorrow or Wednesday night, Alberto Del Rio has qualified for the Money in the Bank ladder match.
Fuck.
What? We have to have some guys that aren't brand new. The only people in the match so far that aren't brand new are him and Jericho.
Jericho doesn't need to be in it either.
He created it, man. Come on.
I don't know.
It's like putting R-Truth in a title match. You know he's not going to win.
True.
It's like when your parents let you sit at the big kid table at Thanksgiving.
I always sat at the big kid table for Thanksgiving.
I've always been a big kid, so there's that.
Me too.
Also, side note. Not that it's the point at all, but I mean, we've got Zayn and Cesaro and Ambrose and Owens in that match as well.
So there was only one qualifying match on SmackDown?
From what I've read, I didn't read all the spoilers because we had to kind of do a video here.
This is true. Side note, I don't remember being anything on Raw with the U.S. title. Was there? I don't remember.
The U.S. title? No, they announced that the United States Championship rematch was going to happen on SmackDown.
Oh, got it.
We've got two title matches on SmackDown. One for the IC, one for the US.
Huh. Cool. Sweet. Nice. Moving on.
The last two, the last three, are kind of a big, solid one entity type of thing. So I'm going to try and lump them all three together because they are kind of related. Damian Sandow, Cody Rhodes, and Eden Styles.
You forgot about Stardust. I'm sorry. All right. Damian Sandow, the savior of the masses. Yeah, I know. They can't see you because you're not talking.
They can see me with the little thing.
No, they can't. There's no little thing.
What's unfortunate? It's never a little thing with Spaz.
The little thing isn't there when there's just two people.
Oh, that's really, really lame. Like a whole bunch.
Anyway,
Christian in here.
Spaz, you're not going to do anything to Guapo. He just said no about your Canadian boy Owen.
Oh no.
If Randy Orton returned and won the money. It would be cool if Randy Orton returned to win the Money in the Bank ladder match.
It would be, in fact, out of nowhere.
It would be out of nowhere, but the only thing is, I don't see him going for the title again.
I think we could, this time around, get a better version of Randy Orton versus Roman Reigns than we got last time.
Only if he does punt everything.
Punt out of nowhere.
Pretty much. Anyway, back to the subject. Damian Sandow, savior of the masses. You're welcome. I'm disappointed that he got released, but happy because he's going to get work someplace else. He's going to be one of those people who end up coming back to the company at some point.
Yeah. See, here's why I lump these two guys together. These guys, I mean, obviously you've got the lineage with Dusty Rhodes when you're talking about Cody. But I look at these guys as virtually the same talent in the sense that you gave them anything and they made it gold.
Yeah, absolutely. You made Damian Sandow come out.
Macho Man now, Stardust, Dashing Rhodes, disfigured Cody Rhodes, mustache Cody Rhodes when mustache was a gimmick. When you put these two together and you had Rhodes Scholars. Now, Cody Rhodes asked for his release, and that's fair enough. Sandow was let go, and that's because WWE is stupid.
It's stupid because when you have somebody go on Raw one night, he's getting cheered for not even competing in a match. And then
people cheered for the idea that they thought they were going to see Sandow versus Corbin.
It was a genuine Sandow sighting. You don't get that shit often.
But just like anything at all, like the Mizdow thing. For all intents and purposes, if you tried to explain the Mizdow gimmick to anybody, it shouldn't have worked. But it did.
If you try
to Savior thing, the may I beg your indulgence for a second, thank you, you're welcome. People said it was a ripoff of the Genius a little bit. Everything in wrestling is ripped off a little bit.
If you tried to explain, this guy, he comes out dressed up like a different person every single night, you think, oh, that's probably shitty. It was fucking golden.
It was golden. The fact that he literally came out on the microphone one day and was like, I'm acting this crazy because I'm trying to get the office's attention.
Correct.
Cheney says, I indirectly blame Hogan for Sandow's departure. That's a good call.
And quite true, actually.
Because the Meta Powers was a cool thing. I don't really have much time for Curtis Axel. I'm not going to lie. But the Meta Powers could have been a cool thing that went for a while. The Meta Powers versus the Ascension. So maybe Hulk Hogan is to blame for the downfall of the Ascension and Connor's drug issues.
Yep, blame the Ascension.
You mean blame Hogan?
Yeah, blame Hogan. That's what I meant.
Cody Rhodes, again, he came in. I remember when he came in, he was tag team partners with fucking Hardcore Holly. Turned on Holly. Teamed up with DiBiase, made the group with them. They started getting taught underneath the learning tree of fucking Randy Orton. When that group split up, WWE thought Ted DiBiase was going to be their guy. Cody Rhodes proved them wrong. They had an awesome triple threat match. Move on from there, you do the whole dashing thing where all the divas voted him like the hottest guy on the roster or whatever. Yep. And he did the... he muted himself. And there he goes. Bye, Guapo. Anyways, what can I say? You guys know when there's a hangout and I'm the only one talking, it gets kind of awkward. Talked about him being the dashing one, him having his rivalry with Rey Mysterio, and the busting of the face when he brought out the clear mask, where he said that he had been so disfigured and that he was so ugly and whatever, but the mask was clear, so you could see that there was nothing really wrong with him. And then he came back, he did the mustache thing for no real reason other than to make the tag team match with Damian Sandow. And then after that, you had his on again, off again tag teaming with his brother / feuding with his brother. The brother team splitting up, the evolution of Stardust versus Goldust, Stardust and the Ascension. And then with Damian, I don't know where Guapo is, guys. I'm kind of tempted to just be like staring until Guapo comes back. Cheney says in the comment section, like Kane, all his scars were mental. It's a good point. He played up the gimmick well in that way. You could tell that he was crazy. I think quite frankly, it was pulled off better than Kane. But that's just me. I'm just reacting to a comment in the comment section. Cheney said that much like Kane, deranged Cody Rhodes' scars were mental, not physical. I think he pulled it off better. The point that I was making was when he pulled off deranged Cody Rhodes, you believe that he thought he was really, really ugly, even though in a cool twist, his mask was clear. So you could see that there was actually nothing wrong with him. So, like, this is how much it fucked him up mentally. And then from there, he just went and did something silly like grow a mustache, and even that worked.
Hey, that mustache was great.
It's Joey Ryan-esque.
Yeah.
But, sorry, I've just been rambling while you've been gone.
Sorry. My dogs are barking like crazy. I think the whole reason why both him and Eden had asked for their releases was mainly Cody sees that he's ready and in place, that he wants to take a little break and make some American Dream babies.
American Dream, baby. I think it's funny that literally before the announcement of Eden Styles' release today, Cody Rhodes put out yesterday, and I hate this expression, but I guess it kind of works. Not very many people in this day and age can say they've got a ride or die girl. You're all going to see later on today that at Eden Styles WWE is one of those girls. I'll see you later, or you'll see you later, or something like that. If it's literally an AJ Lee situation where she left to be with her man and like show solidarity that way, I have no problem with that whatsoever, and I'm not even going to question it. But between these two, I mean, Eden Styles is an announcer. Announcers are what they are. Between these two, unlimited potential WWE just lost.
But I don't feel like they're leaving on bad terms or anything.
No, I mean right now in the current.
Yeah.
Right now in the current, they just lost a ton of potential.
Yes.
Unrecognized potential. Cody Rhodes even managed to pull off a half-decent gimmick with the Ascension.
I loved that gimmick of the cosmic. What was it? The Cosmic Wasteland?
It could have been cool. They didn't really play it up. They just sort of threw it out there one day as, yeah, these three are a group now.
That, and you put
like if they had given it a starting point, like one single event that brought them together as a team. Okay, I mean, come on, seriously, Cosmic Wasteland versus the Bullet Club? You know you want to see that.
Absolutely. But if you think...
sorry, the Club.
The Club, yeah.
On my car.
If you think about it...
the Club Sandwich.
God damn it, Spaz.
Golf Club.
I'm trying to make a point.
The Cricket Club.
Oh, motherfucker. Lost it. God damn it. Him with Stephen Amell. I don't know anybody else who could pull off working with somebody who's a completely non-wrestler and have a good match.
Yeah, but to be fair and give the credit where it's due, Stephen Amell took it a lot more seriously than a lot of other celebrities do.
Oh, absolutely, because Stephen Amell has respect for the company and knows that he didn't want to fuck it up.
Yeah, but on the other side of the coin, you do have to say, like, yeah, here's this guy that wants to try this. He's put in the work. There's still, there has to be a wrestler in there willing to get in there and put themselves on the line for this guy that's not a full-time wrestler. And that's another thing you got to give him props for. Like, he was really up for it, and he took some, like, they used Stardust as a lot of filler in a lot of multi-person matches. Throw him in any ladder match, and he took some pretty brutal shots.
Cheney in a comment, speaking of chocolate, why aren't Booty-O's chocolate flavored? That's because Jay Lethal owns the rights to Blackula Crunch.
Is that a thing?
I don't know, probably.
You just came up with that off the top of your head, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Alrighty. Like I said, Eden, not so much of a loss. These last two, it just bugged me. Because there's some guys you think about potential, and you think about, I always go back, and people laugh, I always go back to somebody like Jack Swagger, who's still on the roster, who's a fucking phenomenal talent. No, he's not the greatest personality in the world, but
Or
he's a
talker.
fucking talent. They should have had, by now, with the amount of time he's been in WWE, they should have found something to do with him. All the cruiserweights they have on their roster right now, the fact that it's taken them this long to do something with the cruiserweights is a problem. The fact that you have two guys this diverse and you couldn't find anything for Sandow and you couldn't offer Cody Rhodes anything to make him want to stay is bad. The fact that Alberto Del Rio was the fourth guy in a failing faction, and that's why he's so frustrated right now, with the legitimate in WWE and out of WWE qualifications that he has. The fact that, yes, you have a lot of new divas on the roster, but you can't find something for somebody as trailblazing in your company as Paige is huge failure on WWE's part.
Absolutely, because there's no reason why you should have such great talent and not fully use them. When you have people who are on this roster who have proven themselves time and time again that they can put themselves over by themselves without the help of a push from the executives, and you can't tell me that people like Damian Sandow who
could do anything.
who they thought, okay, there's no way you're going to go over for this. Fans fucking eat that shit up. You can't tell me that three guys who were doing nothing with their careers, who were all three of them basically on the line of getting fired, get together and say, hey, we want to form a group. We want to call it, let's call it New Day. And we want
to get it the fuck over.
Three black preachers, but not preachers, but we want to be heel. Well, we want to be face, but you know what? Hey, let's try heel. And we just want to insult people. Go for it.
Really just
go for it. It ain't going to do nothing. I give you something.
Booty O's.
You cannot tell me that if you don't put the ball in the hands of the people who are on TV every week, because there's no way there's a writer giving these guys anything, because they're the ones who are making this character, this gimmick, a thing.
Guapo, I got to pause you for a second. Before Enzo and Cass, there was what tag team?
There was the New Age Outlaws.
You know how the New Age Outlaws came about? Two guys they had nothing for, and they just sent them out together and said, well, what the hell, we'll make you a team. Go out there and do whatever the fuck you want. Pretty much. You can't tell me that there aren't people on the roster who, if creative went to them and said, we don't have anything for you, but we'll give you a match, go do whatever the fuck you want, couldn't get themselves over in 5 minutes.
Oh, we have more than enough talent that knows how to work in a ring physically and technically to where they could do literally any type of gimmick and it would go over.
Yeah. I mean, I will say not everything is WWE's fault. There are some people we talked about on this list that were on the way out the door regardless. Yeah. Torito and Hornswoggle were going to go anyway. Santino Marella was injured. He was going to go anyway. Barrett wanted to leave, so he went. Christian was injured, so that portion of his contract is done. Brawler, I don't really know what he did. Ryback's an idiot. Adam Rose, on the serious note, has some things that he needs to take care of for himself. But you're telling me you couldn't have put more effort into the reboot of Cameron. You couldn't have even at least, I know he was injury prone, but at least settled on a gimmick for Barrett.
Pause for 1 second.
Yeah.
You couldn't reboot any more Cameron because you put all reboot money into Eva Marie.
Hashtag all red everything. Hashtag all red everything is greater than hashtag
girl bye.
That's a really, really sad thing to leave it on. But as I'm about to fall asleep, I am going to have to wrap this up. Guapo, tell them where they can find you, bud.
Well, guys, you can find me on Twitter at Guapo_504, and you can find me on the Black Cat Feline channel. Links will be in Spaz's doobly-doo down below. And Yeah, that's where you can find me. And on the Black Cat Feline channel, you'll see me on there with this mask. Because on here, I am a non-mask exclusive. Also because it's hot.
Okay.
And I live in South Louisiana, and hot is a normal thing.
Now, Angry Mark just told us that bootios are sexually delicious. And with that, I've been Spaz. He's been Guapo. We are your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there. Talk down there. Start a conversation. Keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. We'll talk to each and every last one of you later. But for right now, me and Guapo are tagging out. Bye, guys.
Adios, mi amigos.